Greetings to you, dear friend. On this path of awakening, you have felt a calling, a gentle yet persistent invitation to step out of the relentless current of your daily life and discover a source of peace and clarity within. This calling is the beginning of a quiet revolution, a profound turning from the external world of endless seeking to the internal landscape of your own heart and mind. To embark on the journey of a daily meditation practice is to answer this call. It is one of the most compassionate and transformative decisions a person can make. In our modern world, we are conditioned to believe that happiness is found out there, in the next achievement, the next purchase, the next relationship. We live in a state of perpetual motion, our minds scattered by a ceaseless barrage of information and distraction. The result, as many of us have come to feel, is a pervasive sense of dis-ease, of being disconnected from ourselves and from a deeper sense of purpose. The Buddha, the great physician of the mind, diagnosed this condition over 2,500 years ago. He called it dukkha, a fundamental unsatisfactoriness that arises from a mind that is untrained, reactive, and constantly grasping for a solid ground that is ever shifting. A daily meditation practice is the direct and practical antidote to this condition. It is not about escaping the world, but about learning to live in it with greater wisdom, balance, and compassion. It is not about stopping our thoughts or achieving a state of blissful emptiness, but about changing our fundamental relationship to our own experience. As a lifelong student of the Dharma, I offer this guide not as a rigid set of rules, but as a map drawn from ancient wisdom and tested through generations of practice. It is a map to help you navigate the common joys and challenges of establishing a daily practice. We will explore the philosophical underpinnings, the why, and the practical steps, the how, to create a sustainable and deeply nourishing habit. Let us begin this journey not with a sense of grim determination, but with a spirit of gentle curiosity and profound self-kindness. The path to awakening is not a race, it begins with the simple, courageous act of taking your seat, setting the right intention, the power of adhithana. Before you even sit down for your first session, it is crucial to clarify your intention. In the Pali language, the word adhithana points to this, a determined resolution, an aspiration that guides our efforts. Your intention is the North Star of your practice. It is what will carry you through moments of doubt, resistance, and lethargy. Ask yourself, gently and honestly, why do I want to meditate? Your answer may be simple. Perhaps you wish for less stress and anxiety. Perhaps you want to improve your focus or sleep better. These are beautiful and valid starting points. The Dharma honors these worldly benefits as skillful means that draw us to the path. However, I encourage you to also consider a deeper intention, one that connects your personal well-being to a larger purpose. A powerful Dharma-rooted intention might sound something like this: I undertake this practice to cultivate a calm and clear mind, so that I may respond to the challenges of my life with greater patience and wisdom. By learning to be kinder to myself, may I learn to be kinder to others. I wish to understand the nature of my mind, not just for my own peace, but so I can be a source of peace for the world. Write down your intention, place it somewhere you can see it. Let it be a gentle reminder of the profound why that fuels your daily commitment. This is not about adding pressure, but about infusing your practice with meaning. When you connect your 10 or 20 minutes on the cushion to a noble purpose, it ceases to be a chore and becomes an offering of love and wisdom to yourself and to all beings. Part 2. Preparing the ground, creating a conducive container. Just as a farmer must prepare the soil before planting a seed, we must create a supportive container for our meditation practice to take root and flourish. This involves preparing both our outer environment and our inner attitude. The when and where. Establishing a sacred rhythm. Consistency is the bedrock of a sustainable practice. It is far more beneficial to meditate for 10 minutes every day than for 90 minutes once a week. Daily practice creates a rhythm, a momentum that carries the qualities of mindfulness and calm from your formal sitting session into the rest of your life. Choose a consistent time. Select a time of day when you are most likely to be able to practice without interruption. For many, the early morning is ideal. The world is quiet, and the mind is often less cluttered from the day's activities. Starting your day with meditation can set a tone of mindfulness and intention that ripples throughout the hours that follow. For others, a midday session can be a valuable reset. or an evening practice can help to release the stresses of the day before sleep. Experiment, but once you find a time that works, try to stick with it. Make an appointment with yourself and honor it as you would any other important commitment. Designate a space. Find a specific location in your home that you can dedicate to your practice. It doesn't need to be an entire room. A quiet corner will suffice. By practicing in the same spot each day, you begin to create a sacred space. The outer environment will begin to cue your inner environment. Over time, simply sitting down in your designated spot will signal to your mind and body that it is time to be still. You might choose to place a cushion on the floor or set up a comfortable chair. Some people find it helpful to add simple, beautiful objects that inspire them: a candle, a flower, an image that evokes a sense of peace. Keep the space clean and uncluttered, a reflection of the inner clarity you wish to cultivate. The body is an ally, the art of posture. Our posture in meditation is not just a physical detail, it is a living expression of our intention. The ideal posture embodies a balance between focused energy and gentle relaxation. It is both dignified and at ease. The seat. Whether you sit on a cushion on the floor or on a chair, the foundation is key. On a cushion. Using a firm cushion, zafu, allows your hips to be slightly elevated above your knees. This helps your spine to maintain its natural, gentle curve, which is crucial for comfort and alertness. You can sit in a simple cross-legged position, or in a half lotus or Burmese style if that is comfortable for your body. The goal is stability. On a chair. Sitting on a chair is a perfectly wise and acceptable way to meditate. Choose a straight-back chair and sit with your feet flat on the floor. Uncrossed. It can be helpful to sit slightly forward, away from the back of the chair, so that your spine is self-supporting. The spine. Envision your spine as a stack of golden coins. Effortlessly balanced. Keep it upright without being stiff. Imagine a gentle string pulling the crown of your head towards the ceiling. This alignment fosters a natural state of alertness. The hands. Rest your hands comfortably on your thighs or in your lap. A traditional mudra, hand gesture, is to rest the right hand on top of the left. Palms up, with the tips of the thumbs gently touching. This can create a sense of completeness and energy containment. The rest of the body. Allow your shoulders to relax and drop away from your ears. Soften your belly. Let your jaw be unclenched and the muscles around your eyes be soft. Your eyes can be gently closed, which helps to minimize external distractions, or you can keep them slightly open with a soft, downward gaze a few feet in front of you. Find a posture that you can hold with relative ease for the duration of your sit. There may be some discomfort as your body adjusts, but you should not be in sharp pain. Be kind to your body. It is your temple and your wisest teacher. Part 3. The heart of the practice, taking your seat. Now that you have prepared your space and settled your body, the practice itself can begin. For a beginner, one of the most accessible and profound techniques is anapanasati, or mindfulness of breathing, the anchor of the breath. The breath is our greatest ally in this practice. It is always present, always in the now. You cannot breathe in the past or in the future. To be with the breath is to be anchored in the present moment. It requires no belief system and is a universal human experience. The instruction is wonderfully simple. Pay attention to the physical sensations of your natural breath. That's it. You are not trying to control the breath, deepen it, or change it in any way. You are simply observing it as it is. Find the sensation. Settle your attention on one spot where the sensation of breathing is most vivid for you. For many, this is the tip of the nostrils, feeling the slight coolness of the in-breath and the gentle warmth of the out-breath. For others, it is the rise and fall of the abdomen. Choose one spot and let it be your home base. Rest your attention. Gently rest your awareness on this sensation. Feel the beginning, middle, and end of one in-breath. Feel the beginning, middle, and end of one out-breath. Be curious. Be interested. What are the subtle textures and qualities of this simple, life-giving process? The wandering mind. It will not be long before you notice that your mind has wandered away from the breath. It will have drifted into planning, remembering, fantasizing, or worrying. This is not a mistake. This is not a sign of failure. This is simply what minds do. The moment you realize your mind has wandered is a moment of pure mindfulness. In that moment, you have woken up. The gentle return. The most important instruction is this: when you notice your mind has wandered. Gently and kindly, without any judgment, guide your attention back to the breath. This is the central practice. It is like training a puppy. You gently lead it back, again and again, with infinite patience. Each return is a repetition that strengthens the muscle of mindfulness. Structuring your session. A 10-minute framework for beginners. Minute 1. Arriving. Begin by consciously settling into your posture. Take a few deep, intentional breaths to signal a transition from doing to being. Minutes 2 to 3. Body awareness. Briefly scan your body with your attention, noticing the points of contact and any areas of tension, and inviting them to soften. This grounds you in the present moment. Minutes 4 to 8. Focusing on the breath. Gently bring your attention to your chosen anchor point, nostrils or abdomen. Rest your awareness on the raw sensations of breathing, returning gently each time the mind wanders. Minute 9. Expanding awareness. In the last minute or two, let go of the tight focus on the breath and allow your awareness to expand to include the whole body. Sitting and breathing. Minute 10. Cultivating kindness. Metta. End your session with a simple offering of loving kindness. Silently repeat phrases such as, "May I be well, may I be peaceful, may I be happy." This helps to frame the practice in an attitude of warmth and compassion. End your session with the gentle sound of a bell if you have one. Move slowly and mindfully as you transition back into your day. Part 4. Working with challenges, the wisdom of obstacles. To expect a meditation practice free of challenges is to expect an ocean with no waves. Obstacles are not signs of failure, they are the very substance of the path. They are opportunities to apply mindfulness and develop wisdom. The Buddhist tradition has a very practical map for these inner storms. Known as the 5 hindrances. Sensual desire. The mind pulling you towards pleasant thoughts, fantasies, or plans. Antidote. Acknowledge it without judgment. Desire is present. Gently return to the simplicity of the breath. Aversion, ill will. The mind pushing away unpleasant sensations. Memories, or irritation, e.g. at a noise. Antidote. Soften around the aversion. Name it. Aversion is present. Meet the feeling with as much kindness as you can muster and return to your anchor. Sloth and torpor, drowsiness, a heavy, dull, or sleepy state of mind. Antidote. Bring more energy to your posture. Sit up straighter. You might open your eyes or take a few deeper breaths to clarify your attention. Restlessness and worry. The monkey mind that jumps from thought to thought, often fueled by anxiety. Antidote. This requires great patience. Acknowledge the frantic energy. Restlessness is here. Treat the mind like a frightened child. Soothe it by returning again and again to the calming, rhythmic anchor of the breath. Skeptical doubt. The mind that questions the practice itself. Am I doing this right? Is this a waste of time? Antidote. Recognize doubt as just another thought. Acknowledge it, doubt is present, and return to the direct, tangible reality of this in-breath, this out-breath. Trust in the process. The myth of the good meditation. A good meditation is not one where your mind is perfectly still. A good meditation is one where you showed up. It is one where you noticed your mind was lost in thought 100 times and you gently returned it to the breath 101 times. The victory is in the return, not in the staying. Let go of all expectations. Simply attend to the process with sincerity and kindness, and let the fruits of the practice ripen in their own time. Part 5. Nurturing the seed, sustaining your practice for a lifetime. The initial enthusiasm for a new practice can be powerful, but it is often fleeting. The real art is in sustaining the practice through all the seasons of our lives. Consistency over duration. In the beginning, your primary goal is to establish the habit. A consistent 10 minutes a day is infinitely more powerful than sporadic longer sits. Once the habit is firmly rooted, you can slowly and gently increase the duration if you feel called to do so. Find a community, Sangha. The Buddha emphasized that community is one of the 3 jewels of the path. Practicing with others can be a tremendous source of support and inspiration. This could mean joining a local sitting group, finding an online community, or even just having a friend with whom you can share your experiences. Continue your learning, Dhamma. Nurture your practice by continuing to learn. Read books by respected teachers. Listen to Dharma talks. and explore the rich teachings that illuminate the path. This intellectual understanding can provide context and inspiration for your experiential practice on the cushion. Integrate mindfulness into daily life. The formal sitting practice is a training ground. The real test is how we bring the qualities we cultivate on the cushion into our daily lives. This is off the cushion practice. Mindful moments. Sprinkle your day with brief pauses. Before you answer the phone, take one conscious breath. While you wait for your computer to boot up, feel your feet on the floor. Mindful activities. Choose one routine activity each day, like washing the dishes or brushing your teeth, and do it with your full, undivided attention. Mindful communication. When you speak with others, practice listening with presence and speaking with intention. The upward spiral. Faith, energy, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. The path of practice is not always linear, but it does have a positive, reinforcing momentum. The Buddhist tradition describes this as the 5 spiritual faculties. They work together like this. A little bit of faith, saddha, in the practice gets you to the cushion. This requires energy or effort, virya. Through this effort, mindfulness, sati, develops. As mindfulness deepens, concentration, samadhi, arises. And a concentrated mind is the doorway to wisdom, panya, the direct seeing that liberates the heart. This wisdom, in turn, strengthens your faith, and the beautiful, upward spiral continues. Conclusion. The journey of 1,000 breaths. To start a daily meditation practice is to plant a seed of sanity and love in the soil of your life. It is a commitment to show up for yourself, to meet your own mind and heart with courage and kindness. Be patient, be gentle. The habit will form not through force of will, but through the steady, gentle rain of daily repetition. This is not a path to a distant goal, but a moment-by-moment discovery of the peace and freedom that are already your true nature. Each breath is a homecoming. Each gentle return is an act of love. May your practice be a blessing to you, and through you, may it be a blessing to the world.